You need to do me a favor. Come down to me just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm a little short girl. All right, you ready?
Is this gonna send me back?
Oh, baby. Baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today, we have a special guest with us. We have the Lost Girl, Samantha Heights, in the building. Today, we are going to do a modded Royal Rumble. We're gonna do a 20-man instead of a 30-man because the 30-man makes the game crash. I figured that out because of the last video. So it is what it is. So we got a whole bunch of mods on here. We got Terminator, we got Iron Man, we got my pick. I hope it lands on that, you know what I'm saying? And then we got Sam's pick. We got a whole bunch of different options. So since you are my guest, I'm gonna let you go first.
Oh, ladies first?
Ladies first. Ladies first. I got manners.
All right. I'm gonna get some. Ooh, prices right.
Here we go. Here we go. What you gonna get? Oh, you got Michael.
That's exactly what I wanted.
That's what you wanted?
Number 18
too.
too.
Number 18 in a 20-man Royal Rumble.
Ooh, looks like I'm winning this sucker.
All right, we're gonna spin this wheel. Here we go. I gotta spin it hard. You know what I'm saying? If I land on Michelangelo, I'm just gonna spin again. Whoa! Oh, it almost landed on the Flash. All right, so we're both some TMNT characters.
I'm alright with this.
All right, you ready for this interview?
I don't think I'm ready for this jelly, but I'm ready for this jelly.
Oh. All right, let's get it. I usually set the light goal. I'm gonna have Sam do it. What's the light goal for today?
I'm gonna set that goal for a 1,300.
1,300? I respect it. I respect it. All right, guys. Look, we got a guest. You can't make us look stupid. Y'all gotta smash that like goal. Come on, and remember to subscribe to the channel, turn those notifications on so you never miss an upload. Who's your number one? Let's see. Who's going? I can't even hear it. Who's? Oh. I didn't. It accidentally skipped. Oh. So that's another thing with the mods. We got Big E and we got Oscar.
Well, you know what? I don't think Big E is ready for
Big
Oscar.
E, I don't think he's ready either. She a force. So first and foremost, tell the audience about yourself. Who is Samantha Heights? Who is the Lost Girl?
I am basically like a Peter Pan of professional wrestling. I like to have a lot of fun in the ring. I like to be a little bit mischievous, cause a little bit of havoc, and just overall make my wrestling match as enjoyable as I can.
I feel that. Who's your favorite in Peter Pan?
Oh, my favorite in Peter Pan. Oh, okay. So which incarnation of Peter Pan are we talking? Are we talking
anything?
Hook? Are we talking?
Oh, I love Hook though.
Are we talking? I just read a book called The Lost Boy, which is like a Captain Hook origin story, which was pretty cool. Yeah, it was real twisted. Like Peter Pan is demented in that story.
Okay, I didn't know about that.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's real good.
Look, I don't read, but I might have to read.
Girl, I got you.
Okay. So how'd you get into wrestling?
Well, okay, so wrestling is something I used to share with my my family, but in particular my grandparents. We would go over to their house and watch Monday Night Raw. We would get like the pay-per-views and kind of just hang out and experience that together as a family.
Right. I used to do that a lot with my family too. We sit down. I went to like my first live event. I didn't really watch anything yet, but that was usually what was going on. Did you have any inspirations, like, or did you kind of like get into it and was just like, I like wrestling?
Well, okay, so growing up, I always loved wrestling. It's something, like I said, I always shared that with my grandma. She was really important to me, and she always told me that I could do, whatever I wanted, that I shouldn't let anybody, tell me what I can or can't do. So in like high school, I knew a guy who did ring announcing for the Heartland Wrestling Association. I grew up going to HWA shows in Hamilton. I actually watched Dave Christ.
Oh yeah.
Who is my current trainer, my best friend.
My current trainer as
well. But I used to watch him wrestle when I was just a little thing and then into high school. So, I always thought that was really cool. But as for like getting into it, the dude that I knew, I used to work with him, he always tried to get me to do their fantasy camps because he was always like, I think you could do really well. But I was always so involved in school that I never had time, never had the opportunity. And then one day it just kind of fell in my lap. Like HWA came back around, we went to a show, saw that, that it was wrestling in the area again, and good wrestling, not crap wrestling. So I wrote something on Facebook of all things, and dude got a hold of me and was like, hey, my brother still works there. Bet you I could get you in the ring. And I was like, all right. I'm just coming out of some like hardcore family stuff, just coming out of some rough stuff with school and some personal things. So I was like, all right, What could it hurt? Let's do it.
Right. What was your first bump like? Like what did that feel like? Because I know when I took my first bump, it hurt, but like it rattled me, but it was like, okay, this isn't terrible.
Yeah. So I was always used to high contact stuff anyway. I played softball for my entire life, starting in t-ball all the way into college. So I was a catcher, so I was used to getting mowed over by people.
Right.
And I'm the fourth out of 5 kids. I have tons of cousins, so I had already taken bumps.
Right.
Essentially, been knocked on my ass a few times. So taking one in the ring, it was difficult, but it wasn't outside of the realm of possibility. Like, it didn't scare me away.
Exactly.
I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, it sucked. Bumps still to this day kind of suck a little bit, but
the game crashed. You gotta be kidding me. How long have you been a wrestler?
So actually, I took my very first bump on July 5th, 2011.
I didn't even know you had that tattoo.
Yeah, so I have 3 tattoos. I have one on my rib cage. I have one on the inside of my bicep here, and then I have this one. I just got this one last year. I went through some like life-altering events last year, and Dave called me. I was at my brother's house cutting my mom's and my niece's hair, and he calls me and he says, I need you to figure out what day it was that you took your first bump. And I said, okay, why? He goes, because we're going to go get tattoos. So he has this chest piece that's like a stained glass window, and he puts dates. Like, he has the date that he got contracted and a couple other things on it. So I was like, okay, cool. So we went and got this because it's a very significant day in my life. It's the day that I was already in love with wrestling, but it was the day my life completely changed and began to revolve around it.
Right.
So I have been bumping since July 5th, 2011. I had my first match January 26th, 2013.
What's that tattoo? Like, what's the meaning of that one?
So this is a haunted house. It's super, super cute, first and foremost, but it's a house tattoo. We call our house Macho Manor, but it's also the house on Haunted Hill.
Right.
So this is kind of an artistic representation of our house there. I have it, and a few other people in the house have it, just as kind of a bonding family thing,
It really is like a family.
So it is. It really is.
Which one was your first tattoo?
My first tattoo was actually the one on my ribs.
Oh, okay.
So this one I have.
Oh, can they see that? Yeah, they can see it. They can see
that?
There you go.
It's an infinity symbol, and it says BWFL on it, which stands for Best Wedgies for Life.
I need an explanation on that one.
Yeah. So my best friend, Christina, I've known the girl since I was 2 years old. Her and my sister and I, we've always talked about getting tattoos together for as long as I can remember. And she, a few years ago, got married, and her husband got stationed over in Germany. So she was living over there for a few years. Well, she came back. This woman quit her job to be a bridesmaid in my sister's wedding.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, so she put in for it. She worked at a bank over there. She's actually, her mom is from Germany. She lived an hour and a half away from her grandparents. So she got a good job over there working at a bank. And when she first got the job, she was like, all right, I need this time off. Like, this is already set. It's my friend's wedding. And they approved it. And then, like, management changed, and they were like, oh, by the way, sorry. And she was like, oh, okay, well, then, sorry, I'm out of here. And was like, definitely made my sister a priority. Like, she is legitimately one of the closest people to me.
Right.
Like, I love her to death. I would do anything for her, and the same. So when she came back on leave a couple of years ago, we all went and finally got tattoos. Now, the infinity symbol is something she picked out because she's like, well, we've known each other forever. We're always going to love each other forever. You guys are definitely like sisters to me. So we got that. And then the BWFL, the Best Wedgies for Life, when she was 16 years old, so 15 years ago, we got her a birthday card that said, friends are like wedgies. It feels great when you pick a good one.
Yeah.
So since then, we've called each other wedgies, and it's just something that feels very, very unique.
Yeah, I like it though. Like,
thank you.
Now that I hear the explanation, I like it.
Right?
I like
it makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's just something that's tied us together. So we all 3 got the infinity symbol, and all 3 got the BWFL in it. So it's it's just another way to connect us. No matter how far we are.
I like that. I like that. Because like I have 2 tattoos, and all of them are just like dates. Because like this one is when I hit 10,000 subscribers and 100,000 subscribers on the same day, but like a year apart. So I was like, that's really dope.
I love it.
And then I have one on my back, and that's for my dog that passed away, but my best friend. I know you have 3 dogs. Tell the people about your dogs.
Oh my God. Okay, so we actually have 4, but Mina, so Mina is, she doesn't get along with specifically our English bulldogs, so we have to keep them separated.
She's so sweet though.
Mina is absolutely adorable. When the girls went to bed the other night, it was storming, and she freaks out with storms.
Yeah.
So I put my puppies up in my room, and we got her out, and she just hung out on the couch and cuddled up to me, and was the sweetest thing in the world. But she is absolutely adorable. But the other 3, we have a boxer mix named Roxy. We have an English bulldog named Audrey 2 Salem. And I have a Chiweenie named Adrian Rizza Sunflower McFly.
I didn't know the name was that long.
It's a mouthful, yeah. So I named her Adrian. So Dave and I got her last year. We mall walk. It's part of what we do. It's kind of pass the time. So we were at the mall. We went to this pet store. We always go in and look at puppies, but we never get any out and play with them. So we go into this store, right? And she's down in the bottom cage. And I bend down to look at her as Dave is going, oh my God, look at the coloring on that one. Because she's like, she's dappled, so she's got like all the spots, right? And as we do that, she turns around and just connects eyes with me. And her eyes were, I kid you not, the same color blue as Dave's eyes. So we both go at the same time. And then the lady just pops up out of nowhere and goes, do you want to see her? And I'm sitting there and I look up at Dave and he just goes,
we're gonna have to.
Yes. So I pick this dog up and I look at her and I look at Dave and I'm like, Dave, this dog is my density. I mean, destiny. And he goes, well, I guess you better name her Jennifer McFly then. And I was like, what? So we go and we're playing with her and I fell in love with this dog. Like I said, love at first sight. And he goes, find out how much she is. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And he goes, I can't let you walk out of here without this dog. Like, I see the look in your eyes. I can't let you walk out of here. And I was like, okay, cool. So my credit is crap because of medical bills and school loans, right? Because believe it or not, insurance as a professional wrestler is not easy to come by. So he runs his credit, I run mine. They're like, well, we can put him, like, he already had Audrey through the same store, right? So he's like, all right, put her in my name. So that's the story of how my best friend bought me a dog. But so I named her Adrian because of Adrian Balboa, because I love Sylvester Stallone and Rocky. RZA, because the Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Sunflower, because it's my favorite flower. And I'm actually going to get a sunflower tattooed here with her little paw print.
Is it going to be like near the date?
Yeah, so it's going to be near the date, and then it's going to have her paw print in the middle of it.
I like that.
I'm excited about that. And then McFly, because like I said, she is my density. Yeah. She is my soulmate. Dave just the other day was like, yeah, she's your soulmate. I was like, she is. There's no getting around it.
What's your favorite thing about being a wrestler?
Oh my God, the traveling, seeing the world. Oh my God, yeah. So I never, and like meeting people is pretty cool too. You meet some really phenomenal people. I mean, I got my best friend out of wrestling, and a second family from wrestling. But traveling and seeing the world, oh my God. So I've seen the Rocky statue. I got to go, oh yeah. I
want to see the Rocky statue.
Girl, so.
You got pictures?
Of course I
need to see them. You gotta post them on Twitter.
Of course. I put it on Instagram one time as it's like a throwback gimmick.
Okay.
So like we were on our way out to CZW and WSU in New Jersey a few years ago, and
Jersey represent,
I started the drive off. We had 2 cars, right? It was me and Dez and Zach, Trey, and one other person in my car, and then like Dave and his brother and a few other people in their car. So I started to drive out. I drive like 7 hours. Hand the keys over to Dez. Sit in the back seat. I'm like, I'm gonna take a nap because I'm tired. I've been driving through the night because we left at like 3 a.m. Dave the day before was like, just wait for us. It's fine, just like you guys don't need to leave early. I was like, I got WSU early though, and he's like, just trust me, like it'll be fine. Just wait for us. So I said, okay. So we're driving, tailing each other out, following each other. We get out, right outside of Philly, and I hand the keys over to Dez. I'm like, I'm gonna take a nap, guys. I'm tired. So he hops in the driver's seat, and I'm looking out the window, and I'm like, this is not the way that we go to New Jersey. What is going on? And then I see us like rounding the Philadelphia Art Museum, and I was like, hold up, wait a minute, what? So it turns out Dave told Des, without my knowledge, what we were doing. just so he could surprise me and take me to the Rocky statue because of my obsession with Stallone. And I had no idea. So I was like, you gotta be kidding. So I'm like sitting in the back seat and I'm like, I'm jazzed. I'm ready to go. I'm like, I hit my second wind. I don't need any nap. Let's go see this Rocky statue. So we went to the Rocky statue. We ran the steps. We hung out. We took all the pictures. We looked out at Philly and I was like, yes, hell yeah. It was great. And then we went and got Tony Luke's and then we went and had one hell of a show. And it was just, it was such a day. But without wrestling, I would not have had that.
Exactly.
You know? Like I've been able to do that. I got to explore Chicago a few years ago. Like a couple summers ago, we went out for an AAW show, and then a few of us stayed in Chicago the next day, explored and anything. It was like wrestling allowed me to get to Chicago and then paid for this trip for me. It's like, okay, that's cool. And then like all the New Orleans and New York and Orlando for all the manias, and I got to go out to Vegas 2 years in a row, hang out and like not have to worry about anything. I got to go to Japan this summer. Like, I
know that was a lot of fun.
Oh my God, I miss it so bad. So bad I miss Japan. It was one of the coolest things I've ever done, but I got to do that because of wrestling. Without wrestling, who knows if I would have, taken the chance to travel the world. I mean, it's the reason that I got my passport. I've been to Canada, all over Canada. Got to see some really cool stuff there. I ate poutine in Canada. So wrestling has absolutely allowed me to see the world and experience things that I never in a million years even thought about experiencing. Right. It's not even a question of if I would have it. I didn't even think about it.
What's your least favorite thing about wrestling?
That's hard because there's not a lot that I dislike about it. Obviously, like the physical toll it takes on your body, not only like in the ring, but with being on the road for endless hours, having no sleep for days. Like last year, I drove. Last February for a 2-week span, I was on the road. I was only at home for a few hours. I think I maybe slept for 10 or 12 hours the entire 2 weeks. It was just crazy, but it was like I drove to Florida twice. I flew to Florida once. I drove to part of Canada, came back, got in a different car, drove to a different part of Canada, and came back.
That's
was in
tiring.
Maryland. I wrestled in Indiana one day, Maryland the next, back to Ohio, drove down to Florida, was there for a few days, came back up, hit Canada, came back, Canada and back, drove back down to Florida, was there for a few days, came back, did the Impact Twitch show in Ohio, then flew down to Florida, then came back. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I did so much, but it was so tiring. I swear, I think I came home and I slept for like 2 days because I was so tired. But, and even that, the road trips are still fun.
Right.
It's still great getting to see everything. It's just the recovery is probably the worst thing about it, I'd say.
And then, like, you talk about the physical toll it takes on your body. Obviously, I know how you got injured, but tell the people why you are not wrestling currently.
So this is I don't want to say touchy, but it's, it's hard because it'll be 3 months on April 9th. I had ACL reconstructive surgery. I tore my ACL completely in two. I tore my MCL and I tore my meniscus in 2 different places. So I did a number on my knee. I mean, it was and I was told that, with sports injuries, it's pretty common to tear all 3, but mine was
It was bad.
It was really bad. So they had to use my patella tendon to reconstruct my ACL, and I'm currently still rehabbing that, which is why I'm not wrestling. But I tore it it was August 8th in Japan, but it was August 7th in the States because Japan's 13 hours ahead. So,
by the way, I'm coming in this Rumble right now, so I got some paying attention to do. But go ahead.
Hero and a half show. Look at that. But so I was in Japan, and I was in the ring practicing a finishing maneuver where I come off the top rope. I have a knuckle lock. I come off the top rope. I walk the ropes, and I land in a cutter. Well, we were going over it. I was practicing it, trying to because Japanese rings are very different. They're a lot harder. They're a lot stiffer. The ropes are higher. Their turnbuckles are very different than the American style. So I was practicing this move, trying to get used to it in a Japanese ring, and I came down off the top rope, and I My knee popped in, and it buckled inward, and I just dropped.
Yeah.
So I tore my knee trying to move in a Japanese ring, and it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that it was in Japan. It was just a freak accident. It could have happened literally at any time. It just so happened to be in Japan,
right?
So I just dropped like a sack of crap in the middle of the ring, and I just laid there holding my knee, and I said, "Okay, guys, something's wrong. Just give me a minute. Let me lay here." They said, "Samantha-san, you okay?" I said, 1 minute, please." So I get up, I roll out of the ring, and I'm testing my weight on it. And I'm like, okay, cool. I can still put my weight on it. That's fine. I start walking around. They said, they had a trainer there at the dojo. So he kind of checked my knee out. He suggested that I go to the hospital. So I said, okay, hospital. So that night we went. I had an x-ray. That night they saw that nothing was broken. They said, okay, maybe MRI. So they scheduled the MRI for a few days later. 2 days later, 2 days after I tore my ACL, I had a wrestling match. So I wrestled, I taped it up. They were right there for me. Like, as soon as I got out of the ring, there were girls to make sure that I was okay. They were very, very loving, very caring about that. They took care of me and immensely in Japan. They said, "You okay?" "Okay." I said, "Okay, I'm okay." So, I hobble to the back and I'm fine. So the next day I go and I actually do the MRI. 8 days later, I wrestle a second match with my ACL torn. I tape it up. I'm in the ring. I'm running the ropes. I'm doing everything that I would normally be doing. I'm throwing kicks. I am hopping up on the rope to, do drop kicks and all kinds of stuff. And then the next day, I go back to the hospital and they say, you ACL.
Oof.
I said, "Say that again?" They said, "Maybe you no wrestle. Maybe you go home. Maybe surgery." I said, "All right." So that's how I found out that I was going to be out of wrestling. And I know that it was a 6 to 9 month process. So I stayed in Japan for a little bit longer, for about 10 more days. The company I worked for, Marvelous, they were really amazing to me. They helped me get all my flight situation taken back. Nagayo-san took care of all my medical stuff while I was over there. They were absolutely phenomenal while I was there, and they still actually to this day check up on me when you come back. When
That's nice.
So yeah, luckily I've kind of been given an open door there to come back when I'm ready. But it's just having that cut short, because I was supposed to be over there for 3 months. I tore my ACL after a little over a month, and then was there for another couple of weeks. And so to tear my ACL while I was in another country alone was devastating. But
was that scary also, like having a big injury like that in another country? Or
yes and no, because at first they said they didn't think anything was torn. They said maybe the ligament stretched. No, nothing is broken, maybe stretched. I said, okay, I can deal with that. I can work with that. I wrestled twice. I continued to work out with the girls, continued to do everything that I could in the ring. My bumps, my rolls, headstands, handstands, all of that. The only thing that I couldn't do with them was run. But then when they would go and do their laps and they would run up and down the stairs and do like running up and down the hills and stuff, I would just walk it with a cane. I didn't let it stop me. I still went and explored Japan.
Right.
I just had a knee brace on and used a cane the whole time. So it was scary, and that I didn't know what was going on yet. But it was comforting in the fact that they were there to take care of me, and the fact that I could still take care of myself to an extent.
Now, like, you're still like the Shimmer World Champ, right?
Well, so it was the Heart of Shimmer Champion, which is like I don't want to say their mid-card title, because the Heart of Shimmer Championship was designed that it can be, mid-card or main event, just depends on who has it and, the opponent and all that. Shimmer never strips titles. But because it was okay, so when I got back from Japan, it took me 5 months to have my surgery. I got back from Japan and went to the doctor the next day,
right,
to see Tim Krimchek, who is the man. He was the orthopedic surgeon for the Cincinnati Reds, and my insurance was not working with that, so I got to run around for months, and then had to find a new surgeon, and kind of got screwed around with that a little bit. So it ended up being 5 months that before I had my surgery. So because of that, it would have been this upcoming fall of 2020, before I was back at Shimmer and could defend the title. So it would have been a year and a half between title defenses. So I was told, we don't want to do this, but we kind of have to. When you come back, obviously, we'll put you back into that title contention and have an undisputed champ. So right now, Hyan is the interim Heart of Shimmer champion, which is cool because I've had matches with her before. I absolutely love her as a worker, as a person. She's solid all around. So, so currently I am not the Heart of Shimmer champion, but when I come back,
you gonna take that title right back?
Bet your ass on it. I worked way too hard for that title,
right?
Not to slide back into that. So I'm gonna do everything I can to snatch that right back up.
Right. Now, on a lighter note, and you gotta get ready because you about to come in this Rumble.
Yeah,
on a lighter note, you're currently a trainer at OI4K. So what do you love about that the most? Like, do you love just teaching new people that come in?
I do. Honestly, even like in high school, I wanted to be a teacher in school, like growing up even. So that's something that's really cool because that's a goal I've always kind of had. I'm really.
You'll get it.
I'm like, I'm pushing all these buttons. Like, what am I doing here?
You'll get the hang of it.
But so teaching is something I've always had a passion for. And seeing like the aha moments when someone gets something, when it clicks with someone, that's what's really cool for me. Because it's like I taught them that they get it, they understand it because of me, and I'm like, that's amazing to me. But it's also just wrestling is it's something that I'm so passionate about. Rather, that it's like, that's something that I get the privilege of sharing with people. Why won't I get up? Get up, Michelangelo. Get up, Mikey. Get up.
He gonna fight.
Come on, bud. But that's something that, I can share with people. And that, to me, is amazing. It's amazing. It's such a good feeling getting to share that with people who are like-minded and who have the passion as well. That's probably my favorite thing about training, honestly. And the fact that Dave always says, you'll understand it better once you teach it to someone. And he's absolutely right. I can't even tell you, like, the grasp that I have on wrestling just since I have become a trainer, become a teacher. It's like, if you understand it enough to break it down and teach someone, you're going to have this understanding of it where you're going to get in the ring and you're going to be unstoppable. And I couldn't agree with you more on that. And,
like, the way you teach it's very, like, the way you break it down helps me a lot. Like, I know, like, Dalton, Aaron, they can relate too. But, like, funny story, I've been slapped by Sam twice now for, like, doing something wrong. But at the same time, like, learning like that, it does help me because, when I get slapped, I'm like, all right, I don't want to do that again.
Right. So, and that's how I learned. Dave and I have a nice, like, complementary teaching style.
It's like yin and yang.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. But it's like, I am not afraid to give people the tough love that they need to learn. That's how I learn. I played softball forever, and when I would screw something up, my coach didn't sugarcoat anything. They absolutely Hold
on. Wait a minute. No.
I was pushing the wrong button. I was pushing A instead of X. I was like, oh crap.
Here, I'm gonna eliminate him for you. Oh, never mind. He kicked me in the face. So earlier, when Asuka came in here, I kind of wanted to bring up this question. So, intergender wrestling, right? It's a very hot topic in wrestling. I know how Dave feels about it. How do you feel about it? Because I know you've had a couple of intergender matches.
A lot of intergender matches, especially at Rockstar. That's kind of what I cut my teeth with at Rockstar's intergender matches, because there just are no other girls at Rockstar. We've had quite a few female trainees come and go. We've had a few women come in for matches, but I am the only full-time female that has been at Rockstar since I started at Rockstar. So I am a huge fan of intergender matches. The thing about it is wrestling is an art. There's a million right ways and a million wrong ways to do everything. And I think an intergender match or feud or whatever it may be, because I've had a few feuds at Rockstar with guys. If they're done properly, it's a thing of beauty.
Yeah, I kind of feel like when it's treated with respect, it's like I just got eliminated by Vince McMahon. Oh my god. But I feel like when it's treated with respect, there's nothing wrong with it.
Exactly. And like I said, it's like, okay, so the way that it was explained to me once upon a time was, you know, you look at superheroes and comic book characters, you look at Wonder Woman, and you don't question her going toe-to-toe with men. Wrestling is superheroes. It's real life superheroes.
Right.
Besides that, I've taken hits from these men, like legitimate hits, and gotten back up. So I feel like if I can take something, why not do it in a wrestling match? If I can pick someone up and throw someone in a wrestling match, why not do it? There's this entire stigma about, you know, you shouldn't do that because you're a little girl. No, if I can do it, I'm going to do it.
Right.
If I feel it, I do it. And I feel like I could powerbomb anyone,
right,
depending on the circumstances, you know? It's all about the way you work. And I have been fortunate enough to learn to work with anyone. Dave trained me like a man because I never wanted to be a women's wrestler. People always ask me, you know, oh, well, who were your favorite wrestlers growing up? And they always expect me to say Lita or Trish Stratus. And I'm like, Rey Mysterio Jr., Billy Kidman, Sting. You know, these are the people that I watched. I never, and I don't want to say I never appreciated them, but I was never a female fan, a women's wrestling fan. I was always a wrestling fan. I love Billy Kidman.
Right.
Absolutely love him. I love Rey Mysterio Jr. He is someone that I watched growing up, and I'm like, he's not a big guy, but he is in the ring with all these huge dudes, and he's holding his own. He can do this, so I can do this, you know, and stuff like that. That kind of gave me hope as a wrestler. So that's the thing, is I was taught like a man. I was taught to wrestle like a man.
Right.
So why wouldn't I wrestle men? You know, if I can do it, why not do it?
Right.
You know?
All right, so since the Rumble is over, I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions. We're going to have a little bit of fun here.
Quick fire?
Quick fire. Two words to describe wrestling. 2 words.
Oh my God, fun and artistic.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Favorite movie, is it Rocky?
But Demolition Man is actually my favorite. But Rocky there's a special place in my heart for Rocky. But I love Demolition Man. Okay,
for Rocky, which one is the best one, and you can't describe why?
1 or 4.
Okay.
It's a toss-up.
Okay.
It's a toss-up.
Okay. I can respect that.
1 or 4.
I can respect that. Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Cherry cordial or cookies and cream.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
yeah. I'd say probably cherry cordial, but cookies and cream, there are sometimes when I'm like, ooh, I want them Oreos.
Right.
So.
Do you have a favorite video game of all time?
I love Pokemon.
The Eevee in the back.
If you want to snatch that Eevee bag real quick.
Here we go. We got the Eevee in the back.
Bag with my little Eevee hanging off of it. Eevee's my favorite because it can be whatever it wants to be when it grows up.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, we're going to move on to some questions that people had. Purple Haze 81 on Twitter says, my 13-year-old daughter has fallen in love with wrestling and says she would love to do it. What advice would you give to someone interested in starting?
To just do it. The hardest part is just doing it. Find a good, reputable school. If you want suggestions, depending on where you're at, definitely feel free to reach out. Because let me tell you, there are some places that'll just take your money, say they're teaching you, and then just let you go.
Right.
That's not somewhere you want to be. You want to find someone that's going to actually care, and someone that is going to teach you to not only be a great wrestler, but, you know, every aspect of the business, and how to just be a good dude, because that will take you so far in wrestling, so far. So my biggest advice, though, overall, find a good, reputable school and just go for it.
Come over. Did her love for the Browns come from being friends with Dave, or did she find them on her own?
Okay, so funny story. I'm a Cincinnati girl all the way, but I could never get into the Bengals, right? I used to watch Bengals games with my grandma growing up, but I could never get into them as a team. And then from day one, moving in with Dave, because I moved up here to Dayton. My grandma passed away in February of 2012, and a week after she passed away, I was like, all right, there's nothing holding me here now, so I'm gonna move up to Dayton. Cool, so we can be around wrestling. And from day one, seeing Dave's passion for the Browns has absolutely made me just fall in love with them. We would sit on the couch every fucking Sunday and watch games together. He would hang up the flag every season. He got so into it. It's infectious. It's impossible not to love the Browns being around him.
He's obsessed.
He is. And like, I already loved football. My mom taught me, my mom of all people, when I was in like the 6th or 7th grade, we were at a high school football game in my high school, and I was like, I don't really get it. What's going on? And my mom of all people explained to me, you know, just like the general rules. She didn't go into like the details with, oh, this is this will get you a 5-yard penalty. No, none of that. Just, you know, the general overlay of football. So that's something that, you know, I've always liked, I've always enjoyed, but I could never really get into the Bengals. So then seeing Dave's love and passion for the Browns just made me fall in love with them. You know, it absolutely, it hooked me.
And my last question for you, where can the people find you on social media?
Oh my God. So I am on Instagram and Twitter at Samazing73. That's a good one.
I like that. I like that.
Because it's my name,
I
but
like
I'm
that.
amazing. So it's SAMAZING, the number 73.
I'll also have it on screen somewhere. Make sure to follow. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on, guys. Show her some love. Come on. But guys, thank you so much for stopping by to the channel today. Thank you for checking out this interview. You got anything you want to say before we head out?
I just want to say thank you guys for being so down with your questions and for watching and for giving us your time. You don't know how appreciated that is. I'm going to say I love you.
Alright guys, I almost forgot the most important part of the video. I was going to let Sam chop me up. I completely forgot. So, I will not tense up. I will not tense up. She's not going to hold back either. So, this don't hurt.
Stay loose. Okay. I need you to do me a favor. Come down to me just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm a little short girl. Alright, you ready?
Is this going to send me back?
Oh, baby. Baby.
Use the crust to put the egg.
Ooh. Katie, would you like to chop?
Yeah. Come in here, come close. Find your distance. I would take that ring off.
Oh, yeah, so it don't hurt me.
That might hurt. All right, so find your distance, how far away your hand is, right? So you're right here. You're gonna aim for the middle of his chest, away from the nipples and away from the neck. This is gonna be the safest part. Cup your hand like this. Put this, yep. Oh, so when you come against here, it's gonna make a good sound. And it's gonna hit him real hard.
Whenever you're ready.
So if somebody wants to
Do it again.
for a
There you go. There you go.
Not bad.